The lost tapes. That's all I have to say. The lost tapes. Lost
Yeah.
tapes indeed.
They'll never
They'll
know.
never know.
Except 6 years from now when we release the lost tapes.
Specifically 6 years. They,
Yeah, 6 years to this very
to this
day.
very day. um, wow, it feels like it's been a while. It has been a while. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, that's probably why it feels like that.
That's because, hot off the presses, we're just going right into it, I guess. So, things have been happening. I mean, Andrew, you started, you've always been working on the podcast, Two in the Cooler, and your studio stuff there full time. And, obviously, I don't know how much you're willing to talk about it, but you've been working on stuff full time there. Well, more full time even than before. And you got a lot more on your plate now.
We have the second show now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, a lot of stuff's going on there. And then I, moved here, didn't have a job for like a month. So I had some, I was kind of driving myself crazy with free time and applying for jobs. And then I got a job. Last episode didn't have a job. This episode got a job. Been working there for about 3 weeks. And it's been good. It's been chill. It's been fun. I enjoy it a lot. And, yeah. So, yeah, that's why there's kind of a gap between recording the last episode and this episode. And a gap in when they've come out as well. And yeah, I guess this brings us to, this kind of marks the beginning of the end for this lovely podcast that we put on. Which, we're really busy now. And I think we'd rather it go out right on our own terms than it, kind of just be strung out and then, kind of
fizzle away.
Yeah, and that sounds sad. I think this won't be sad. I think that sounds really sad, though. So...
Oh, yeah. Especially, well, we've been doing this for, like, how many years? 4?
Yeah, well, including the TV show?
Right.
Yeah. Like 4 or 5. Maybe 4. It might be 4.
What year is this? Wait,
well, we did it. We started it sophomore year of college. Well, I started it sophomore year of college. You're junior.
Right. So we did it for 2 years there.
2 years.
And then
there.
what year is this? Yeah, so like 4 years.
4 years. You're right. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, and actually, it was the anniversary the other day. We didn't even have we didn't even get to do like an anniversary like thing because it just we got too busy, which it happens, and yeah. So we kind of I think you realized with your schedule, and then once I got the job, I quickly realized because when you told me your idea about the show ending, and you just brought it up, and then I was still jobless, and you brought up the fact that once I got something going, it would be even crazier, and then little did we know, a week later, or maybe even less than a week later, it just fucking balls to the wall. I got the job, and then it was just crazy. So the time that we normally record isn't even really free. Thankfully, we do have a few. We found a break here to record, but yeah. That being said, this isn't the last episode. That would be too out of the blue. We do have a plan.
Drop that on, folks.
Yeah. We do have a plan. We want it to end. It is going to end soon. But we're thinking our Dune review, our Dune episode is going to be probably the finale. Or it's going to be the one before the finale. Around there. That's around where it's going to happen. There's nothing official yet, but that's the time frame. So end of October, that's the beginning of November. That's the idea there Because that movie comes out October 22nd, I believe. So whenever that episode comes out, that's either the last or the second to last. But you know,
I think you just gave me an idea. We'll talk
mm-hmm.
about it later. That's
Yeah,
why I had to write it down so I didn't
cool,
forget it.
dope. I'm excited. We also thought about doing one. We got it. This is completely skeptical, because we gotta see how our schedule works out for this. But we did also wanted to do one more watch party, and we wanted it to be of the Dune, David Lynch, film. Thought that would be fun as the last watch party. We've both never seen it, and we agreed that that's probably the only context that we'd ever want to watch it. So, and
I got through. I think I watched maybe 6 minutes of it.
yeah, you told
And
me.
then
You were like, "Fuck this."
God, it didn't happen.
And you know
Yeah.
what's funny? Last episode, we talked about Dune for a little bit because I just started reading it, and now,
Wow.
at the moment we're recording this, I'm almost done reading the second book. So,
You're fully enveloped in the
dude,
Duneverse.
I literally I have so much time to read, and not no, that sound makes it sound like I have a lot of free time. I have I really enjoy reading, and I especially this series, and you know, I've times where I'm normally on my phone doing bullshit on Twitter or something. I've now been reading, which sounds, I mean, I think it's a great thing, but it also sounds like a completely first world millennial problem. But
Yeah.
but you know, it's fine. But I enjoy it, and it's been a thing I've been really liking. So anyways, that being said, I'm all ready for this Dune movie. And I'm ready for us to review it. I'm ready for us to possibly watch this in the watch party. So that'll be cool. So, but more info on that will come soon. And yeah, I guess I just kind of thought it'd be a good idea just to start out with the update right out of the gates. And yeah, so yeah, you know, crazy shit's going on, and you know, I think it's a good thing, and it's gonna be wild, and I think it's gonna be cool. So I'm excited. And yeah, I mean, it's good. It's also good that we just have so many crazy things going on right now, right? It is a good thing, especially because I need to live here and not run out of money. so that's good on my front.
Joey Hardball always finds a way to make the rent.
One time I had to get a baseball bat and beat someone's knees in for the money. I don't.
Yeah, I see movies.
Yeah, I see movies.
It's a movie podcast. I've seen them.
It's a movie podcast. I've been around the
I've
block.
seen it.
Dude, I did want to say, did you hear about that flooding that happened here? Oh, you didn't?
I did not.
Dude, so remember the whole Hurricane Ida stuff that happened in the South, and it was really bad?
Yeah.
So it came up.
This was what happened the last week.
No, it happened a couple days ago. There was
Right,
another
sorry.
hurricane that came just
Okay.
yesterday or the day before, and
Oh.
it came through the country, and it was really bad, and it came out of nowhere, and we were supposed to get just the outskirts of it, and you know, we just had the hurricane last week, and we were and it didn't do anything. Literally, we got minor rain, we got pouring, but nothing crazy. It wasn't that bad. And everyone was like, oh, the world's gonna end. And it really wasn't that bad. So then this one comes around, and we hear that we're just getting the outskirts of it. And we're like, okay, so it's literally gonna be no one even prepared. No one was preparing for anything. No one was worried. And we get hit with some of the craziest flooding that I think I saw the statistics. It was the craziest flooding that this city has had in years. And Staten Island was almost completely flooded. Cars were completely submerged. The subways were completely overflowing and flooded. the there were like, I think there was like 9 people who died from the flooding. It was bad. It was really bad. Thankfully my area was fine, but like there was tornadoes. It was crazy, dude. It was fucking crazy. So
Wow.
yeah, that was nuts. That happened like a couple days ago. It was I forgot to mention it to you on the phone earlier, so I just mentioned it now. It was crazy. I don't really know what else to say about it. I just wanted to bring it up because it's just fucking crazy. Like
Glad you're all right.
Fucking hurricane was crazy. It's fucking like, it was like, just I've never it was just like, I don't know. I thought there was another story to say about, another thing I had to say about it, but it was crazy. I just wanted to know if you saw the stuff from it, but I guess not. It's pretty nuts.
Oh, I guess I did not.
The fucking like rain on the window though was like, it was wild. Anyways, we talk about weather on. So welcome to Film Juice, the podcast where we talk about the beginning of the end, the rapture, the weather, and movies and news as well. I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
I'm Andrew Canada, and I host this show along with the show's host, Joe Dorado.
Yes. And you also have a hoodie on today that says "not interested."
I do.
And I do like it.
But I'm very much interested.
Where'd you get that? That's actually a dope hoodie. I do really like that. Well, don't plug them.
I got it, okay. I got it at, that one fucking store, H&M.
Oh, that's an H&M?
H&M original.
Oh, that's good. I do like that. Wow, you're Simpsons.
I got complimented on it this morning, actually. I was at the grocery store. And the woman there was like, I love that Lisa on the back. And I was like, yeah, isn't that cool?
You said we. Who's we? Are you...
Did I?
What? You said we got complimented on it earlier today.
Oh, and yeah, like, Lisa and I.
I was like,
no.
Are you having a psychotic break today?
Yeah, well, perhaps I would. Perhaps that was
okay. Anyways, I love that. Well, let's get into some of the the news. We don't have a lot, but I'm ready to get right into it because we got some great shit to talk about today, and I'm very excited about it.
We're pulling up right now.
Yeah, do we just?
It's the big thing.
Do you want to do the big thing, or do you want to do the?
Okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to do the smaller thing first.
Well, yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Everybody that Seinfeld is coming onto Netflix, myself included. Yeah.
It is exciting.
You know, I can't remember how much they paid for it, but it's an insane amount, like everything else. And, you know, Friends is on HBO Max.
Dude.
With The Big Bang Theory. Those are 2 big ones. And now Seinfeld on Netflix. These things, people have, I wonder what the deal is as far as actors and creators, if they get any of that cash in those deals, or if it's just the studios, because
I'm pretty sure,
you know, the reason that like Seinfeld and, you know, all these other actors are so rich is because of they get money through syndication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, that's a deal that you get when you're an actor on one of these shows. So I wonder,
it's like a commercial thing too,
how that goes. Yeah, I wonder how that goes down with these streaming deals, if they see any of that cash.
I'm pretty sure they do. I could be wrong. I think they do though. That's just me like thinking it though. I would think they would, because I feel like they would be pissed otherwise. Like,
well, sure. I mean, otherwise they'd be upset. But if you're not,
like, there's no way we
if
wouldn't.
If you don't have a maybe.
Like,
you
know
know
how Scarlett Johansson like did the whole thing with, because it wasn't in her contract that it would be on HBO Max, so she. Like,
I feel like this is a little different, but
it is different. I'm just saying. I just feel like if that's something that we've heard about, I feel like if they weren't getting paid for it being on streaming, that would be a whole other. Like I feel like they get something, but
But the difference would be if they didn't get paid anything from these streaming deals, then that would mean that they
I feel like
it wasn't a part. It didn't qualify as a part of their contract the way that the syndication does.
yes,
With Scarlett Johansson,
that's a whole
that
other
was a
thing.
part of her
Yeah,
contract.
no, of
So
course.
she does have a. They would have no argument in the first place to be.
Yes, of course. I'm just saying. I know they're different. I'm just saying. I lost my train of thought. No, I think they're getting paid by someone. I don't know if they're getting paid by Netflix. I think what would probably happen is Netflix, whoever's paying the Netflix is probably paying the studio or whoever the
Yeah.
rights, and then they're giving still the money, some of the money to the people involved.
Right. If they're owed a certain percentage
Yeah,
that if
that's
that
what I'm
falls
thinking.
under their syndication clause or whatever,
Yes.
which I assume that it would as well, but
Yeah.
who knows?
But who knows? You're right.
That was probably a big deal at some point.
Yeah. But yeah,
Did you ever watch that show?
Seinfeld, yeah. Not
That's what I
I
that's
didn't
yeah, that's
finish
what I was
it.
really curious
I
about.
never watched it like the
Well,
full way through, but I've like
no, see Seinfeld. See, yeah,
well, everyone talks
that's
about the
also what's going to
finale,
be
but
interesting.
I haven't.
Sure, but
I would go
that's also
through it all once it's on Netflix though.
I guess so.
You
It's
don't
just such a,
I know you love that show.
that I do love that show, but I watched it the way everybody else watched it was just reruns on
Mm,
TBS and whatever.
yeah.
So whatever episode was popping up, that's just what you
Hmm.
watched.
That's how a lot of people
I,
watch The
I,
Simpsons though too, right? So like
oh yeah,
so
that's how I watch it.
I
This
wonder
show I would say is because even with Friends, right, which is
hmm
sort of the counterpart to Seinfeld,
hmm
that does have like storylines that last through various seasons and things. Seinfeld
mm,
doesn't really have that. There's references to other episodes and things like that, of
hmm
course. Um, but they don't really have those storylines that way. So that's going to be interesting, especially because the
hmm
early episodes of Seinfeld are so
different.
strange to
Mm,
watch. Like here's an example. There's this one episode that I think is in season 1. It might be in season 2, but I'm pretty sure it's 1
mm,
where uh Kramer goes with George to this waiter's apartment, and Kramer is walking and he like runs into the table, like Kramer style, like he hits it
okay.
with his shin.
Yeah.
Classic Kramer.
Classic Kramer.
But but there's nothing.
Mm.
Like it's dead silent. It's like the people watching would think it was a mistake because they didn't like the audience didn't know Kramer yet. So
Mm.
that's weird. But like that show took a while to find its rhythm. I
Yeah.
think for sure. It's kind of like how the first season of The Office and even I don't like the first season of Parks and Rec. I'm not saying it's quite
Oh,
as
I
bad, but
agree with both of those.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
Seinfeld. There's like arguably like the first 4 seasons are kind of like that. They're just a little still trying to
The
find their
first
place.
four
And I
seasons.
don't,
That's crazy.
yeah, and I don't think that that's a show that should be watched the way that we watch shows now, where
Really?
you all the way through like that. Yeah,
Not like The
I really don't think
Simpsons?
so.
Because The Simpsons you've watched the whole way through before. Multiple times.
Yeah, but when I rewatch it, but I don't really watch it in chronologically though.
No, you said you
I don't think
did.
that's the way to watch that show either.
You did do that though. I know you've done that before. There was a marathon going on and you've marathoned that whole show. I know you have. You've told me about it. I think it was in college, but like you like
No, that can't be right. I think I said I wanted to, because when they came on Disney Plus, that's what I would have done like during quarantine,
yeah,
but
that's
I
what
didn't.
I thought. Oh, you never ended up doing it.
No, because I had to work.
Oh.
So I was saying that's what I would want to do.
Ah.
But that's the same thing. Like I don't think the best way to watch The Simpsons is all the way through like that.
Okay. Didn't
Like
you watch the
you gotta
marathon on
jump around.
FX or whatever too? Or there was a marathon on something on some TV channel.
They have a lot of they do a couple times a year, I think, like
Yeah.
average Simpsons
Yeah. But you
ever
don't watch it all the way
marathons.
through. You just like watch like some of yeah.
I just jump into it,
Yeah.
if I know
Okay.
it's on sometimes.
Okay.
But even like having it on Disney Plus, I jump around.
Oh wow.
That's the way to do it.
Wow. I wish there was
I
like a
think that's
shuffle option for
probably
those.
yeah, that'd be cool. The FX app actually, you could do that.
Oh, that's cool.
You could like just play a random Sims. Yeah, it was the best
That's pretty sick.
because like I
You
said,
can just
that's the
roll
way to
a.
do
I
it.
guess you could also just roll a number generator as well, like on your own, and just pick
Yeah,
them.
I've if I'm not sure which like if I'm just like flipping through and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, they have like generators
Yeah.
that you can find online or
Cool.
whatever. But I guess that's not that interesting. But what I'm saying is,
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld, I just don't think is a show you should watch all the way through. So I
Hmm.
wonder how it'll do on Netflix. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. I mean, people will watch it, but I wonder if
Yeah.
people will enjoy the experience
Mm-hmm.
because people who are new to the show, the way that a new audience got introduced to Friends and
Mm.
stuff, like teenagers, things like that, who maybe hadn't seen it before. They are used to watching beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I just don't know if they'll enjoy it
Yeah.
doing that with Seinfeld,
Yeah. Friends
if
is
it'll
a
be that
much different
acceptable.
show though, too, right? Like,
Yeah.
so.
Well, really, all those other shows are that we've named,
Mm-hmm.
The Office, Parks and Rec, Friends.
Yeah.
But but again, all of those have these season
Mm-hmm.
arcing storylines, right? And like will a bunch of will they won't they's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
All these things. Seinfeld, that's not Seinfeld's bag. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like hilarious. It's a
Yeah.
little cans of
The
comedy.
cherry Coke's back, baby. Love it.
Yeah.
Or the cherry unnamed beverage is back. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I completely. I mean, I get that. The only thing is, I know a lot. I've never seen. I've heard all the buzz about the finale, and I know they go to jail. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
So I don't know like the whole like people don't like it, people do like it. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think there's gonna be another. I think a lot of people are gonna bring that back up once they watch it again.
That's a that's an excellent point actually. I think you're absolutely right. The thing about the ending to Seinfeld, when I
Mm-hmm.
first watched it, I hated it as well.
Mm.
And then I was talking about it with my friend's dad, who's also a big Seinfeld fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I saw I can't believe that like what? And he was like, listen, you got to understand, the whole joke is like it's a show about nothing, but it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a show about these people living their lives. So how do you end that?
Hmm.
Because again, it's not like okay, Monica and Chandler are gonna move to the suburbs and have
Yeah.
kids. Like these people have to go. Joey's going to Hollywood. It's just like how do you end something when there's
Mm-hmm.
just nothing
Yeah.
really to end. It's either like you kill them or you
Or they move out. They leave.
do something.
That's my logical like reasoning where I would think of how to like if I was in charge to end that show and I know very
But that
little
would be
about it.
so
I would be like
yeah, because that yeah,
I would be like,
that's
okay,
that's an interesting idea.
Seinfeld
But
gets a job
that's so
across the country or something like that.
well because he's a stand-up comedian in the show,
Yeah.
and the thing if you did something like that, it would just be so out of character
Mm-hmm.
for those characters to do. That's the other thing you had to balance with the finale of that show, right? So
Yeah. Yep. But cool.
so I get it because I like I said I was upset when I saw it the first time, but
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta take a seat and think about it. But man, you're right. There's gonna be a lot of people that bring that shit up again and are
Yep.
not gonna like it. Fuck, I'm worried. Because if people start trashing on Seinfeld, I'm gonna lose my mind. And it's one of those things where like they're not gonna understand what I'm talking
Hey,
about, so
hey,
I'm not gonna
dude.
change their opinion.
Hey, dude. You're a fan of SNL, so you get the worst of it. So I don't think you're gonna get any worse
Yeah.
than that. Like, it's not gonna be. Just think about it like that. It won't
Uh,
be SNL level the hate that Seinfeld gets if it does get hate.
well, I guess so, but like I understand some criticisms of SNL though because
Well, of
that show
course.
is the nature of the beast is that it's always changing.
Yeah,
So that's part of
I see.
why some people don't like. But Seinfeld being its own thing, when that's all there is, like when you
Mm-hmm.
just have to take it for what it is, and if you try and trash that,
Yeah,
I disagree wholeheartedly.
yeah.
But even boy, SNL, this last season was rough. Even I had to
Yeah,
admit that it was
was
really
rough
difficult to
from the
watch.
things I've seen.
And you know me, I watch it. I
I
watch it
know
live.
you love it.
So I would kind of this past season, I would actually kind of look forward to the weekends when they were off, so that like okay, I don't have to
Was
watch it this Saturday.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was sad.
that is sad. Oof.
But you know what drives so many people have said this,
Mm.
but like the whole bringing all these other more famous people on to play like these reoccurring roles like the president and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That's fucked up, man. That's a huge detriment to that show
You
because
think
that's in a
so?
lot of ways. Oh my God! Of course, for one thing,
I think it's funny.
for, I mean, of course it's
Like
funny.
Jim
They're
Carrey
very good
playing.
actors that they bring. Yes, he's doing a great Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
He's very funny as that, and Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris is
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. But I mean, a couple things. I think for one, I mean, what have we been saying this whole time? People's criticism with it comes from the fact that the show does change all the time. That's the
Mm-hmm.
root of the problem, right? Is that, oh, these people aren't as funny as the others. Well, a big part of getting to know them is maybe having them do not just some weird character that they want to try, but play an established
Mm.
personality like the president. People got to know Will Ferrell as George W. Bush. People got to know Dana Carvey as H. Bush and as Ross Perot. People got
Mm-hmm.
to know Daryl Hammond through Bill Clinton. I don't know if anybody knows who Daryl Hammond is, but these are guys that really crushed when they were on there, Farrell and
Mm-hmm.
Carvey, right? And also to be an actor on that show, because everybody on that show just kind of like this is just their big chance, right? Because we've all seen what can happen if you do well on SNL. Sandler and Farrell,
Yeah.
right? That's that type of deal. So you're struggling to get on there as it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're bringing in these guys to steal your
Mm-hmm.
jobs.
It's only for one skit though. Like that's the thing.
No, it's every week,
Yeah, it's
dude.
every week, but they're in like all the other ones. It's one skit a week.
No,
Okay.
no, no. That's
Okay.
that's still that's still no way, dude. You're missing the point. You're missing the whole point. One sketch a week. What? Ah,
Oh God.
wow. That's rough. That
Oh
is
man.
rough.
Oh man. I get it. Like I probably don't get it, but I understand. Like I understand the reason. Like I understand where you're coming from in the sense where it is like it's already so hard, and they're literally just bringing like they already bring on a guest celebrity every week as it is, and now they're bringing on even more people once a week.
Well, that's a little different just because like if you're a performer there, you're never going to play the host, right? You're never
Mm-hmm.
going to have a host role, but you could have gotten the Joe Biden role. And if you get that role, you are the opening of the show basically every fucking week. You're the first thing that America sees when they
Mm.
tune in, and that's how they
Yeah.
get to know you. That's a huge fucking deal, especially for somebody that this is like their first
Yeah.
basically the first time they've ever been on TV. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, they've had a few people. That's fair. I will say, with some of those, they did get some SNL. I remember they do have like obviously like very recently it's been Jim Carrey and um Jim Carrey and I know Alec Baldwin was Trump. Um,
Right. That's really what started it all, wasn't
mm-hmm.
it? Yeah.
And but like I will say like they do have the SNL cast like being some of the main people for sure. But obviously like I see where you're coming from. Like they're like that is
Yeah.
a huge I get it. That is a
But
huge
again,
opportunity.
it's different because it's like, oh, I hope frickin' I don't even know. I hope Mitch McConnell is in the news this week so I can be on. But like again, presidents and stuff
Yeah.
every week they're gonna be there.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, damn. That's it.
Let's
I mean, that's just right. Let's jump into the big boy.
yes, here we go.
I'm excited.
I'm just pulling it up silently now. It's
We
so the No Way Home trailer came out,
yes, it did.
and it's a huge deal.
Oh, it is. It's so
There's been a lot of rumors about this movie, the new Spider-Man, what
mm-hmm.
the deal is going to be, and this trailer certainly didn't disappoint.
Nope.
Uh, I think a lot of people took certain things to mean that some of their theories are 100% confirmed now.
That's not true. Not that. Oh, I'm not. That. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. We got it. Yeah.
I wasn't saying you're not. What
We're
you're
on the
not
same
saying.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither of us feel that way, which
Mm-hmm.
is correct. So, but holy smokes. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's going to
Dude, it's
be,
crazy.
I don't know what is going to happen in this movie.
It's
I
crazy.
do kind of, I mean, I don't know. I
Yep.
almost wish
Mhm.
that, like, this trailer, it's a wonderful trailer.
It's
It's
so
obviously getting
good.
people super excited for this movie.
Oh,
It's crazy. There's a lot of awesome stuff. It does
it's the.
almost make me wish, though,
Mm.
that they didn't even have a trailer.
I'm the
Because
one who gave you.
imagine.
Yeah. Yep. I kind of
Oh, were you
planted
telling
this.
me this?
I planted
I
this
think
seed
you.
in
I
your
think you
brain.
did.
Yeah.
I think you did. And then I was talking to another friend of mine,
Mm.
and he was like, "Imagine if we were sitting in a theater next to each other,
Mm-hmm.
watching this movie, and then a Green Goblin pumpkin bomb
Mm-hmm.
just rolled in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we would die.
Mm-hmm. I think
That
I
being said,
told you. Imagine if we never knew that there was even like we never knew the casting before this movie came out, and
right?
imagine if we never knew the
Yeah,
casting before this movie came out, and imagine if if there was a trailer it didn't show anything, like
yeah.
anything, um, but like.
I honestly, there's some part of me that like didn't
Mhm.
even believe that. What is his name? Alfred Molina? Is that how you
Yeah,
say it?
yeah,
Um, was gonna be in this.
really,
Like, even though it was, there's still a part of me that was like, I can't believe that this is happening.
yeah.
And then you see it in the trailer. He rolls up,
Hmm.
and what the fuck, dude?
It's crazy.
First of all, I mean, that's probably that's the biggest part of the trailer. I
Yeah,
mean, basically, um,
I'm
that he
kind
is
of.
so
Yeah,
fucking good as
yeah,
Doctor Octopus.
he
It's
is.
insane. It's
I'm
not
so
fair.
glad that's the one we got in the trailer. If we were gonna get one person, I'm glad it
Yeah,
was him.
you're absolutely right. You're
Like,
so right.
cause he's arguably the best part of Spider-Man 2. Like he
Yeah.
literally he is the best part of watching that movie. The best Spider-Man movie created, and he's the best part of it. Like, so of course they're gonna like make him like either him or Willem Dafoe, right? And I'm glad it was him, not Willem Dafoe. I don't want them to show
Me
Willem
too.
Dafoe. I don't. I don't want them to show him until the movie. I actually don't think I'm gonna watch another trailer if they put one out. I think this might be it.
That's a great call, actually. That's a really good call,
I think this
actually.
is all I
I think
needed
I
to
might
see.
have to do the same. This comes out in December, right? December.
Yeah, that's a long ways away.
Okay.
They're definitely gonna put out another trailer.
Yeah, they'll definitely put more out, but
Yeah.
I think that's long enough that we can hold out.
I don't want to
You know, we,
see. I don't want to like. And I still have hope that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this movie. I was I was a pure non-believer before all this trailer stuff came out. I was a pure non-believer, but after this trailer and after hearing more of like the leaks and stuff, I'm not a full-on believer, but I would be shocked. I would be a little surprised if they weren't in this movie. I would be a little surprised. I do think there's a chance. And if they are in this movie, I think you're gonna freak. You're gonna freak the fuck out, dude. I mean, I am too.
I am.
But
Well, you know, um, still, I will say I'm still like this. But through all these rumors and everything, I've been very much in, like, there is not a single part of me that thinks they're going to be in it. I've not
that's
allowed myself to think
crazy.
that, and that's just how I feel.
Okay.
This trailer, of course, makes that a little more complicated because now,
You're seeing it.
we are seeing characters from different iterations of Spider-Man. Uh, because if they show up in that movie, Joe, my brain will shatter. My brain will shatter is the issue that I'll have
Yeah.
there. Because what does that mean then?
What do you mean? It
If
means the
they're
multiverse.
what is it? But what does that mean for the future of the MCU though?
Well, isn't that crazy enough that that's the whole point of I think the whole
Like,
multiverse thing.
well, but it's different because
They're bringing in Jamie
to
Foxx's character, right? So like
yeah, right. To create though like Marvel could have just not done any of this and just created a multiverse, right? Use it with all the, but to bring stuff in from old movies and things, I don't know. It's just like what does
it means
I just like what
it
what? It's
means
crazy.
it means think about it like this. Remember the build up from Iron Man all the way to Endgame? That's the creation of how long is that? 10 years? Over 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it like this. If this is what happens, it'll be the culmination
Oh
of
boy.
20 years of Spider-Man
Wow.
movies. 20 years. That is insane.
You know what I really want though is no matter what, I think it'd be great if at the end of Far From Home, the end credit song
Yeah.
is that hero from the first. We need a hero to save us. I'm not gonna stand in the
Oh my
day.
god.
That's by the what is that guy's name
I don't
from Nickelback? It's like Chad. I want to say
Oh,
it's Chad Kroger, but
yeah,
I
Chad.
think that's something else.
It is Chad something,
It's
I think. Hold on.
yeah.
Uh,
We need a hero to save us. Not gonna dang dang wrong.
let's see it. Let's see it.
Whoa. Trying to remember the rest of that song.
No, oh yeah, Chad Kroger. You got it.
Wow.
You killed it.
All right, look at me
Wow.
go.
What a
We
name.
need a hero to save us.
But yeah, so but other than speculating and all that, what was in the trailer was really cool. This is the thing. This is all I'll say about it actually really quick. About like the multiverse stuff. Well, the fact that, if they do bring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in. This is the thing. The one more reason that it kind of seems a little bit more plausible to me, other than the leaks and other than what we've seen so far. They have Sam Raimi back in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That is kind of almost bridging, in my mind, bridging some of the old with the new already. So I'm just saying, like, that kind of makes it even, like, I'm not saying that Tobey Maguire's going to be in that movie. I'm just saying that, like, it just, there's a lot of old things coming back. And it wouldn't surprise me if part of that was them getting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Also, we haven't seen them in anything recently. Like, at all. Especially Tobey Maguire. Like, and we also heard that
he's busy. He's busy playing poker.
We also heard that were you the one who told me that Tobey Maguire, there was that one leak that you heard about Tobey Maguire's...
Oh, yeah. The guy who dubs Tobey Maguire's voice in Brazil said that he was, like, working on Spider-Man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. How are you even, like...
But who knows?
That's I know, but that's just insane. Like, imagine.
Well,
like...
I mean, you just said it yourself. We haven't seen Tobey in things recently, which... I don't know. I feel like that guy's just doing his own thing. Like, I don't feel like there's any real reason for that.
No, I know. I know. Same with Andrew Garfield. I mean, he's doing stage stuff. So, like...
Yeah, that guy's such a good actor. But, so if you're this guy in Brazil, maybe you just want people to talk to you.
No,
because he was getting interviewed and stuff. You know, who knows?
We'll see what happens. I am skeptical. I do want to talk about just a few specific things in this trailer before we move on to the movies today. And other than us speculating about whether they're going to be in the movie. First of all, Tom Holland and MJ already in this movie, just for the little bit we see of them. I love it. God damn it, I love it. I love it so much. I'm on the Peter Parker MJ train, and I am on the Tom Holland Zendaya train. All day, every day, I will be on that train. And
they dating in real life?
Well, it got soft confirmed because Tom Holland, everyone was speculating for a while that they were, and then recently, and they never confirmed it, and they were always denying it. And then Tom Holland, for Zendaya's birthday the other day, posted this really, like, sweet message, and he said, "My MJ," in the message, and it said XXX, and everyone is freaking out, and everyone thinks they're dating now, and there was a picture of them possibly kissing. It's crazy. I don't like feeding into this shit, but dude, I'm on it. I'm all on it. I love that.
Reminds me of this. Feels. I don't know. Reminds me a little of Lena Lamel situation from Singing in the Rain. Lena Lamont and Gene Kelly's character.
Oh.
You know how...
Yeah, but, you know, that's the thing. It could be... Who knows? I don't think so.
Yeah, who knows?
I
don't think so either. That's just what it reminds me of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, another recent one that happened was Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello. That was the same thing where everyone was like, for years, 2 years, they're like, are they dating? Are they dating? And then they finally, like, after years of them saying they're not dating, they finally were like, okay, yeah, fuck, like, we're dating. Like, fuck it. But it reminds me of that situation a little bit. Anyhow, their chemistry already, though, just from, like, what we see a little bit is great. It's a long trailer. We see a lot. Like...
Seriously.
The Doctor Strange, like, interaction in the beginning's great. Like, with, like, I love that little intro we get. Like, that's great. What's the other thing in the beginning that I really liked? Actually, that might be all in the intro that I really liked. And then, Steven goes into this whole thing where he's like, the whole world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And then
Pretty good.
and and then he does that, and he's like, wait, everyone? And when he
I'm messing up the spell.
and all the and all these, I just want to address this. All these jokes came out where they're like, Peter Parker ruined the whole multiverse because a couple people were gonna find out, like, we're gonna forget that he was Spider-Man. Did he forget that he can just tell them after? I'm like, no, dude. I know you're making a joke. I know you're just making...
That's hilarious.
I know this guy is just being an idiot, like, and I know he's just shitposting and he's making a joke. I get it. But, like, for the people who do think that, like, actually, because there are definitely people who think that actually, to those people, that is the stupidest thing I've ever, like, you're not, that's not, no, and I know they say that to rile me up, but that's not how it works. That isn't how it works, man. The whole thing is, not only do they forget that he's Peter Parker, all of the moments that he spent with those people as Spider-Man disappear. They have never happened. So basically, since Peter didn't start dating MJ until she found out that he was Peter Parker, all of that is gone. Like, it's a whole, like, it's huge. It is, like, probably, like, a year or two of his life with these important people in his life disappear. It's almost like the snap again. Like, it's crazy.
We don't know exactly how that's going to turn out.
I know, but I think that's...
I mean, I don't know if that's exactly how the spell would work.
That's what it's... But that's what it sounds like it would. Like, how else would it work?
They would just forget that he was Spider-Man.
But then, so...
Well, like, so let me explain. Like, it would, like, so, like, in the last movie, when they're on, Zendaya and Tom Holland are on the bridge, and she's like, you're Spider-Man. And that's kind of where the romance starts to blossom. Yes, right? That would just kind of be, like, rewritten, you know? Like, oh, we were on this bridge, and then we started dating.
Okay, well, if that happened, then yeah, Peter Parker's an idiot. If that's the case...
man, I don't know. But it's also, like, it's tough to tell people you're Spider-Man, and, like, and they do forget the experiences, like, because it changes. It would still be fake, right?
Yeah, it would still be fake, almost.
It would still, you know, it would still suck.
Yeah.
That seems like real classic Peter Parker to me, you know. Just
True.
kind of.
He's a kid. He's in high
real
school,
worried about
dude.
his pals.
He's
and his
in
family.
fucking high school. It makes complete sense.
The big question is, I don't know if you know this, but Ned, the character Ned, and everybody knows this, so this isn't a spoiler, folks, all right? Do you know? That character may or may not be the Hobgoblin in the comics.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
So some people have speculated that there's going to be, like, a Ned that shows up in the multiverse that is the Hobgoblin, and maybe, like, mess with this Ned, and that would be cool.
Sick.
I think that actor that plays Ned, Jacob, whatever his last name is, that guy, great actor. I think I would love to see him do.
That'd be so cool.
Play
Dude,
a character like that.
All I'm gonna say, because that just gave me this idea. I know this isn't gonna happen. This is something I will not get my hopes up for. But if it actually happened, I would freak out. I would lose my shit. If they brought, let me just will this into existence. If they brought Emma Stone in to play Gwen again, but not only, but Gwen in a universe where she's Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Everyone, dude, that would be the craziest thing. I know that's probably not going to happen, but that would be insane. Because that would mean we're bringing in multiverses of things that never, like, that would be insane. I don't know if we're going to get to that level. I think that'd be a little too much for one movie. I think this is already going to be a lot for one movie. So I think if they brought that in, because the only reason why I don't think I think in the future that could be a thing, but I don't think in this movie they're going to touch that, because I think if the farthest we're gonna get in this movie is these 3 timelines, maybe one extra one. I don't know if we're gonna get more than that. We'll see. Anything can happen. It's gonna really bring up theories for Multiverse of Madness too, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
also,
Oh, yeah.
obviously everyone's. I haven't finished Loki yet. Don't yell at me. But everyone's,
Boy.
and I never watched WandaVision. So I know everyone's.
I mean, nobody cares about that.
I know
But
everyone's.
Loki, you gotta finish.
And Captain Winter Soldier or whatever. I know everyone from these shows is talking about how it all ends with basically like everything links up to this like multiverse thing. And basically everyone's theorizing that that's what Multiverse of Madness is basically going to like bridge the shows together in a way. So that's going to be really interesting. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm excited to see that. But that's crazy that you bring that up. That would be kind of cool. What do you think of the black suit situation that's shown for 2 seconds? Why does he now this is the only thing that makes me consider that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield won't be in it is the only thing that makes sense to me, because obviously Tobey Maguire should be in that suit technically.
It's not quite the same suit though.
Okay.
I've checked it. Like it's,
Okay.
I've wanted to make sure it's a different suit. It is apparently something that Doctor Strange gives him, I think.
Oh, it could be, it could be also the spy suit. It could be remember in...
Yeah, it's something like that.
It could be that.
It's kind of like that. It's not that same suit either, but it's some new suit.
Okay. So maybe, so then
I forget what it's called, but it's one of his suits from some of the comics.
Okay, so then it's probably nothing then. I was like, man, that's not the Venom suit, right? Like, there's no way. That wouldn't make...
No, it did look like it, though.
Yeah, for a second it did, and I was like...
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they're gonna have him playing the roles of the different... Like, he's almost gonna be...
Kind of, like, he's just, like, shooting through different moments in those... Yeah.
I was like, maybe...
Yeah, because that's... Yeah.
I don't... So that's, like, a theory if they weren't in the movie. That, like, that could be possible. I hope that's not the case. But maybe. Like, that is possible, of course. Also, the other thing I wanted to bring up, remember the voice that plays where it goes, "Be careful what you wish for, Parker." And, like, it's obviously, like, I'm pretty positive it's Doctor Strange's voice. But didn't it for a second sound like, I know, like, but for a second when I was watching the trailer the first time through, 2 things went through my mind. 1, that could be Willem Dafoe's voice. 2, that could be Harry Osborn's voice. There were 2 voices.
Like Amazing Spider-Man?
No, from
like James
Franco. I was like, those are 2 possibilities. But it is pretty confirmed that was Doctor Strange's voice. But they have similar voices. And I was like, man, that line, like, the way he says Parker, like, that just sounds like something the Green Goblin... Because literally that's how the Green Goblin addresses... like, once he... Like, that's how he addresses him. And...
Yeah.
And right when that line is said, the pumpkin rolled on screen. And I was like, that's sneaky.
Well,
that's sneaky.
Look, I really think that something in this trailer, and I don't know what, but they're
Mm-hmm.
tricking us in some way.
Oh,
They're doing,
for
you
sure.
know, they've done it before.
Oh
They're
yeah.
doing it now. There's
Oh yeah.
something's going on here.
Plenty of
You
things are
know?
going on. Plenty of things
Yeah.
are going on. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember like the whole thing where like Infinity War, like there were shots in that trailer that never were in the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
right.
that infamous shot of them
There's that,
running, never
yes.
in the movie, which is great. I think that's great.
And the Hulk is there, which
Yep.
obviously the Hulk wasn't even there.
Yep. So I'm all for that for this movie. I'm all for them tricking me. I want them to trick me. I want to go into this movie and I want to be bamboozled, Andrew. I want to be bamboozled.
Yeah.
And that's what brings me to the last thing that we're going to talk about before we move on to the movies. Alfred Molina, obviously, right at the end, goes, "Hello, Peter." And then it shows him like getting suited up on a car. There's a lot of speculation around that scene. A lot of people, including me, think that that is not the shot that's going to be in the movie. And I think whether you disagree with the next part of the theory, I think you also probably agree with that. I don't think that's the next shot of the movie. Like I think that's just in there for the trailer.
Yeah.
Now, the question is the actual shot that precedes that one gonna still be Tom Holland in a Spider-Man suit? Or is it going to be Tobey Maguire or just Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? Like that's the question. And that's the theories going around, right? I don't think it necessarily confirms anything cuz I agree with your reasoning that if he sees Tom Holland as Spider-Man, he's going to think it's
Yeah, because we've talked about this like when the trailer came out, and
yeah.
that's what I said.
Yes.
Because a lot of people were saying that to me, like, I think it's got to be Tobey Maguire. How
Mhm.
would he know that Tom Holland is Spider-Man? Like,
Mhm.
well, for one thing, he's just seeing a guy in a Spider-Man costume.
Mhm.
That's something. It could also be we
Mhm.
don't even really understand how this multiverse thing works. It
Exactly.
could be, you know,
Like he sees
maybe this is a different,
yeah.
yes, maybe this is a different one. Maybe he sees Tobey Maguire's face on Tom
Yeah.
Holland. Maybe his memories are messed up now, so
Yep.
in his memory, he's always been seeing
Yep.
Tom Holland's face. Could
There's
be
a
anything.
lot of ways. There's a lot of ways it could
But
go.
I really don't think that what, regardless of whether Tobey Maguire shows up in the movie, I don't
Mhm.
think that he was talking to him then.
You don't.
No.
Hmm.
But that is such a great moment and such a great line. And the other thing
Mhm.
that I said to you was like, that's something where you like shoot that and you're like, that's going in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Yeah.
trailer. That's a
Yep.
trailer line.
I I don't know necessarily if I agree with you that he's not talking to Toby. I think he very well could be. We'll see. Um I mean it's who fucking knows, right? Like I don't think anything's set in stone, which I do like. Um all I do know is specifically during that part, there was a lot of editing fuckery going on. And I know that
Yeah.
half of that shit is not in sequence. Like, and that's fine. But at this point, like I think if you've seen enough of these trailers, you can tell when things are like where they're supposed to be. And I think it was a little obvious that those two parts were not in like I'm not saying they're like super far from each other, but I just think, it was cut very obviously there in my opinion that it's not like the next thing that's going on. But I do think it's great. And goddamn, that line is great. So cool. So fucking cool. Also the line about Doctor Strange going like he says something like you can't keep living two different lives or
Yeah.
did you see the meme?
Classic Spider-Man.
Did you see the meme that someone like put the Hannah Montana theme song over that part?
No, that's
So
hilarious.
so
Oh,
fucking funny. There's that one,
that's
and
awesome.
then there was the other meme really quick, and then we'll move on because and I'll let you have your closing thoughts. the other meme of uh of Alfred Molina coming out of the smoke and the fog, and then it plays the video of him doing the Fiddler on the Roof have you ever seen the original version?
No.
So Alfred Molina is a great stage performer.
Yeah.
And he also can sing really well. And he played the main character of Fiddler, or he played one of the main people of Fiddler on the Roof while he was filming Spider-Man 2. And there's a famous outtake that they filmed during that movie where he used the octopus arms to do like the snapping, and he literally sang a Fiddler on the Roof song, and it's amazing. It's actually great. And it's literally like he just pops on screen and it inserts him into that scene, and it goes, "If I were a rich man, da 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 da," and it's great. It's so good. I just thought it was funny. I was like, it's back, baby. It's back. Dude, Alfred Molina is just a legend. He is a fucking legend.
Yeah. That's
and
true. Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yes! 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 God, if Nicolas Cage is in this movie,
Can you imagine?
oh, if he was one of the Spider-Men, dude. If Nicolas Cage was Noir Spider-Man,
Yeah, I've heard people mention that before.
there's no way.
But there's no way.
But imagine.
It'd be really cool.
That'd be insane. That's the great part about this movie. There's so many theories. You can just theorize forever. Anyways,
I know
we've been talking about it a lot. I do want to say one last thing. Jamie Foxx, because we talked about Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina, and obviously those are the big ones, because we kind of just saw Jamie Foxx as Mr. Electro, it feels like, even though it has been quite a long time.
Just Electro,
yeah. We see a little bit of his new look. It's not Blue Lightning, it's yellow.
Yeah, but we don't even know that that's him for sure.
He confirmed that he's in the movie.
Yeah, but we don't know that lightning in that shot is him.
What do you
the
think
lightning
it
in
would
the trailer
be?
is him.
What else could it be?
Know.
What?
I don't fucking
it
know,
was
man.
very
Some
obviously.
Kind of like
no, it was very
electrical
obvious.
Explosion. People
Well,
were saying that he's like hitting Sandman.
Oh, I haven't seen that theory, but what I have seen, I think Jamie Foxx made a quote recently that he said like,
"It is me. Joe Dorado is correct. That yellow lightning is me." That was his tweet.
No, it said, he said, the version I cannot find the quote, but I swear to God, and this is not something that I'm like just pulling out of my ass. I swear to God, there's a quote of him saying yeah, and he's way doper and way cooler or something like that. He says something like that in some interview or something. He's
well, if he plays, I guess in a way, a more traditional Electro, and I don't even mean that so much as just to be different from the one that he played, because the one that he played
that's what he was saying.
So strange.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool to see. But
so I think they're just gonna rebrand him in this movie, which I am completely fucking fine with.
Yeah. So, but you know, I mean, if he's just playing Electro, this is a different Electro, then we don't even know if Alfred Molina is the one we've seen before.
True.
We know that, we don't know if he's definitely from a different universe, without a doubt. But we don't know that he's from exactly the one from Spider-Man 2. Could be one just left of that.
True. Yeah. We'll see.
I don't think that's true, but we don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We don't know. Don't know anything.
I know you disagree with me on this, but I love the classic Green Goblin outfit, so I hope they keep the helmet. I think it's great. I love it. I
don't disagree with that.
I thought you told me that you didn't like Green Goblin's helmet from the original Spider-Man.
I hope not, because that's not true.
Oh, then someone else must have told me that.
Because I think that costume
I thought that costume's
is
amazing.
that's such a great costume.
Oh, well
Yeah,
then I must
I
have.
think they nailed it.
Okay, then someone else was telling me that they don't like they hope they change his helmet. Someone told me they hope they change his helmet then.
Well, if
'Cause
they give him like the purple hat from the comics,
that'd
and
be
that'd be
sick.
hilarious.
That'd be sick.
I don't think it would. I don't think it could look good in any
You're
way, but
right.
that would be
You're
so.
right. You're right.
I mean, if they could make it look good, then go for it. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way to. It'd be
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Who
Oh,
knows?
dude. Ah. You know, you can't do this to me. You know what I sacrificed? Oh, it's so good.
Incredible.
It's so fucking good. I'm so ready. Anyways, anyhow, let's get into your game show notes. Let's get into the first movie, if that's all. I mean, we could go on and on. Like, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I love this trailer. I've rewatched it plenty of times. It is such a hype trailer. Like, the music,
Really
like, they kick the music in right at the right moment. Like,
how does the music go again? Isn't it something like we need a hero to save
oh
us?
my
I'm
god.
not gonna stand in the way. And they say there's a hero born. I'm not gonna be a hero. I'm the hero.
Now we're copyright striked for this video.
What? I don't think that resembles the original track in any way. I am trying to remember how the rest of that song
Oh my
went,
god. Well,
though. That's all I can remember.
now let's move on to the first movie today. I know we talked about that for a while, but like it's huge. It's fucking huge. I'm so excited. I do want to share one story really quickly because I think you're gonna get a kick out of it. Me and my roommate were watching Taylor. We were watching and my friend. We were watching some show on Netflix, and we were in the middle of watching this show, and I literally like got a text from my friend that the trailer dropped. And as soon as I got that text, I paused the show. Like, literally no warning. I paused the show, and I brought my phone over to them, and I said, we're watching this. She goes, they go, what, okay, what's what's happening? And I was like, the new Spider-Man trailer just dropped. And they go, oh. And I'm like, because Taylor doesn't give a shit about MCU. Like they think they're fun movies, but they're not invested like at all. And I'm like, we're watching this. Like we have to watch. Like, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be the craziest thing ever. And they're like, okay. So then I literally like just forced them to watch this trailer. And I was just like freaking out and screaming. And I remember when Alfred Molina came on screen, I screamed so loud and I freaked out and I like ran into the other room. And Taylor was like, Joe, it's okay. You're gonna be like, you're fine, buddy. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, this is the craziest thing. Like, this is insane. And I literally like sat them down and explained everything. And Taylor was like, okay,
wow.
Can we go back to the show? And I'm like, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and then eventually Taylor just gave in and was like, yep, it's nuts. It's crazy. And no, they did love it. They secretly loved it, but it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it was crazy, dude. It was like, man, people really don't give a shit about this.
This
And that's.
We have to get into the next movie
I
before
know.
I start talking about some other dumb stuff. Because that just for some reason that just made me like I just started thinking about
like, have you ever shown?
I haven't talked with anybody about something else. Never mind.
Oh.
Forget what I'm saying.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, have you ever showed like Zoe like some crazy like movie trailer and like Zoe doesn't give a shit? Oh.
No.
Oh.
never show her anything because she does not care.
But you've never
So I
like
just quiet. No, I've never forced her to watch
no, not
something against her
force
will.
her.
No,
Okay, but like
just
you
just
make me sound like a
just
crazy person.
heavily implied. Yeah, which you're obviously not.
Like I'm just saying, like you've never been like excited about something, and you think that maybe they like Zoe would be like excited about it, and then you show them it, and they're not, and you're like, oh, people don't care about this. That's all.
No.
Wow. Well, that's because you guys are perfect and great, and I do love you guys, so that's different. But I shouldn't have expected anything different. But I was just curious. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I'm tired, Joe. I'm
No,
real tired.
I know. I'm sorry. I know I'm going. I'm
Tired of all the goddamn politicians. No, I'm just sleepy. I couldn't even commit to that stupid joke that I always do enough.
What's the stupid
That's
joke?
how I always go like, "Oh, I'm so tired of all these damn
Oh,
politicians
that's
and
right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
See, I can't even sell it.
Hey, we all have off days, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta get going before I forget where I am. Before I quantum leap again.
before I get some prescience vision, before the spice melange, the spice melange. There's no official sayings for any of that shit. So like people just like have to guess. Like it's crazy.
No, it's spice melange.
They don't well there's no like Frank Herbert never officially he never officially like said how they're pronounced, I guess. I looked it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I looked it up and like
that
I couldn't
seems to
find
be
it.
that seems to be the agreed upon one though, because
Mm-hmm.
in I mean, like in that documentary we were talking about earlier, one guy says it like that, and then there's this great South Park episode that I think is from like 2 years ago, maybe, and it's all about people are trying to get Tom Brady's poop,
Okay.
and they refer to the poop as the spice melange because it's so desirable.
That's so good. That's amazing.
It's very funny.
It's
the way
funny.
they do it, because Tom Brady is like aware that everybody's trying to steal his poop, so he'll like see something.
Oh, so
somebody
he
will come
has
in,
the visions.
and they'd be like, "Oh, no,
Oh.
well, not that I remember, but
That's so funny.
so people will come in and be like, "Oh, hey, Tom Brady," like pretending like they don't want his poop, and then they'll do inner monologues of that person and be like, the spice melange, in like that South Park voice. It's really
That's
funny.
so funny. I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we do have movies this week, and it is
Oh my God, do we?
none other than
Two
the
of them.
first one. And it's been out for a month, but who gives a fuck? We're reviewing it anyway. Because it's still great
Yeah.
to watch now, and it's still great to talk about now. Because you cannot skip out on talking about this one. It's such a big deal in this universe. The Suicide Squad, James Gunn. And I mean, this is a huge deal, especially for the DC universe. This is, I mean, not confirmed, but kind of. It's in a way a soft reboot in my eyes. It's because they have some recurring characters, but like they also kind of just like never talk about and kind of just never explain and just wash away all the old shit that they don't like from the first movie, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that. I don't think anyone's complaining about that. But in that way, I think it's kind of like a soft reboot. And I don't think anyone's debating that. Like, I think it's like, that's just kind of makes sense. Even the title is like the same. There's just one word different. So it's pretty much a soft reboot, but they don't like explicitly like say like none of this ever happened. Like it's just like
It seems like maybe it did. It does.
Yeah. They leave it up to interpretation, and I think that was the best way to go about it. So I'm fine with that. So You don't have to watch the first Suicide Squad to know anything about this movie at all, which I think is the move. You
Yeah.
also don't. If you do watch the first Suicide Squad, or if you watched Birds of Prey, you'll get some. You'll maybe get a little bit more out of this just because of Harley Quinn's
Right. That's really the only thing.
and well
Rick
also
Flag.
Rick Flag. Like
Rick Flag. Yeah.
I think he gets some more shine from, like, I think if you watch the first one and you watch this one, you'll get some, like, you'll see some, like, growth.
Right. A little
You'll
bit of background if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
watch
yeah,
some of those other
exactly.
ones, but
Exactly. But other than that, we got a whole new cast. Just to bring you up to speed a little bit. This movie stars the Suicide Squad, which you're unfamiliar with the Suicide Squad. It is basically a group of prisoners who usually have superhuman abilities or just really are really good at you know killing
bad
people.
guy stuff.
Yeah, bad guy stuff. Like if Amanda Waller, the head of this organization, thinks you can help her out, she is willing to take 10 years off of your sentence to finish the job, to finish whatever the job is that she wants you to do
Yeah.
on
Different
this.
mission.
Yeah,
Whatever.
on the Suicide Squad. And the reason why it has the name is because they put a bomb in your neck. And
Yeah. Well, really, it's because all of these missions that these guys are being sent on are suicide missions. It's because they're criminals that they're kind of seen as disposable.
Yeah. So if they die, it's not a big deal.
Exactly.
So, and they also have this bomb in their neck where if they ever go off course at all, Amanda Waller can literally hit a button and you die. So, like, and they have trackers on you at all times. So, like, literally, and if you try to take it out, like, it'll blow up. Like, there's literally, like, so that's kind of like the whole, like, that's how they're getting these, like, criminals to, like, do what they want them to do. And, like, that's kind of the premise of the Suicide Squad. And this one follows Rick Flag, Margot Robbie, and a few new characters, including the likes of John Cena, Idris Elba, and oh god, I'm forgetting some of the other main.
You got Daniela,
yeah,
Melkor,
you got Pete Davidson, you got
right, Flula Borg.
mhm.
What's that? Whose castle? Nathan Fillion.
Oh, was he in it? He
Yeah, he was the
was.
guy with the arms.
Yes, 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 that was him. Oh my god, that's crazy. So you're getting a lot of, and basically, these characters have to try to do this espionage mission on this island, and they have to try and go in, destroy the intel, bring down the building because it's detrimental to America, and that is the whole premise of this movie. Without getting into anything too crazy, spoiler wise, I mean the trailers did show one of the main characters later on. I guess we could probably talk about it. Starro is in it. So, Project Starfish is a thing in this, and that is like basically what they're trying to stop. End goal. So yeah, that I think that's a decent intro to this if you've never heard of it. And yeah, let's get into it. This could have gone either way. We've talked about it. The way leading up to this movie, like this movie could have been bad. It could have been good. Could have been bad. And James Gunn brought a good style to this movie, and I think he was the right person for this kind of a movie.
Oh, 100. I mean, well, he's the obvious choice after what he did with Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy. If you can get James Gunn to fix your Suicide Squad movie, you have to do it,
Yeah.
and he did. Yeah,
It's
this movie was a lot of fun.
yeah.
I really liked, um, I really liked the way it was told.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as like
Structure.
them shifting
Yeah.
locations, yeah, structurally, all of that.
I think
Um,
it was well done.
it was also cool that we got to see different characters' perspectives in a
Mm-hmm.
very distinct way,
Yeah.
uh, which hasn't we haven't really seen in a superhero movie quite like this before.
Mm-hmm.
I think we follow different characters around, but there are moments in this movie where we're like getting real insight into what different characters are seeing, and that's all balanced
Mm-hmm.
together really well.
Yeah.
Um, and Sylvester Stallone is the voice of King Shark, which I did
Mm-hmm.
not realize. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
The the cast in this movie is great. I think
Yeah.
everyone has their time to shine in this movie. Even people that I was worried about have their time to shine, and they're all great. Um, and the writing is well done, and the comedy is. It's not like I think James Gunn did a perfect job of balancing the comedy writing with
Yeah.
the actual like. Okay, we got to keep moving, and like I think for me, most of the jokes in this movie landed, and if they didn't, it's not like they held on it. Like it's like a classic like it's like when we talked. I'm not saying it's the same movie, obviously, but it's like you know how we talked about Caddyshack, where it was just like jokes after joke, and you know not everyone is supposed to land with everyone, but like they just keep going and they don't stay on one. That's kind of what this movie did. That's kind of the style I think the comedic writing approached in a way where if a
Yeah.
joke didn't land, it didn't
The
stick on it. It just kept moving. Like it was very fast
That's a
paced.
good call. It's a very good call. The Smash Mouth method. The hits stop coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah. Yep,
Shout out to
exactly.
Shrek. Shrek was a part of the Suicide Squad at one point, wasn't he? I think he could
Yeah.
make it work. All right, folks. Folks, let's see. Let's see. What else?
Oh
What
my
else?
god. I can always tell when you're tired, Andrew. I can always tell when you're like
Yeah, I
when
don't
you're sleep
don't hide it
deprived.
well at all.
When you're
I don't
sleep
hide it in the
deprived,
slightest.
you're like ready. You're like really like I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It's
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
I've seen high Andrew, I've seen drunk Andrew, and now I've seen
God.
sleep deprived Andrew.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So, dude, I don't even know where to start. I guess I do have no. I mean, I have notes. It's just like they're everywhere.
Well, I'll tell
So,
you one thing. I I
yeah.
assume I have not really looked into it. I assume that David Dastmalchian
Mm-hmm.
we butchered, you know, when we do the clip show, I think we'll look back on a lot of name mispronunciations. That would be a
Mm-hmm.
great supercut. Um,
Yeah.
but I have to imagine that he is getting a ton of love for his Polka Dot Man
Yes,
performance
that was the one
because
that surprised me the most, honestly.
oh, I knew that guy was gonna bring it.
Really.
This was obviously a huge opportunity for him, and he has really, in every, he's been in a ton of things with these small roles, and he's really kind of chameleoned himself into those roles. He's really blended into them. You may
Mm-hmm.
not even recall that he was in Ant-Man and the Dark Knight. No, he
Yeah.
was in Batman Begins. Um, amongst other things. And holy smokes,
Yeah, yes,
they found the
he
right
was in
guy to do it.
Batman. That's the thing I remember him from. He was in The Dark Knight. He
Yeah.
was the one of the people who ratted on he was the one of the people who ratted on what's his name? It was the whole yeah, anyways. Um but that yeah, dude. So he
He
just
was so funny,
it's such a
and
weird
he
character
was
too,
perfect.
right? It's like
Very weird character.
how do you bring a character like this? And how do you even visualize
Well, you have to, the way that James Gunn decided to put him in the movie was he
amazing?
Googled lamest
Yeah.
DC characters, and then obviously Polka Dot Man is going to come up. I don't know if you're familiar with Stilts Man from the Marvel comics,
Or
big Daredevil
bicycle.
villain.
What about the bicycle guy? There's a big wheel man, or he's a
Oh,
Spider-Man
really? I
villain.
don't know that
He's a
guy.
Spider-Man villain.
Kite Man as well is a DC
Kite
guy,
Man.
but he's on that Harley Quinn show. which is super good if people haven't watched it. Um, yeah, he was excellent, very funny. Yeah, this was a bit, it
I
was
love the
the
visuals that they used for him.
yeah, the
Amazing.
humor involved in the movie as a whole fit very well with this. It was kind of it was weird to see something with that sort of DC filter on it
Hmm.
work in that way. And that's what the humor in this movie did. I think James Gunn did a good job of still making it kind of very DC-esque, but in a new way, a way that worked, obviously, which is not something that they're used to. And this movie, this was a fun movie, man. Like, I thought it was a really good time. And that's
Yeah.
another thing you hire James Gunn for,
Yep.
Um,
I
you're
I
muted. I don't
I'm
know if
muted
you,
right now?
yeah,
Oh shit.
he's working on it, folks.
Oh
Hey,
no,
he's
how long
back.
was I muted for?
I think just while I was talking, but
Okay, okay. So that's good. Because I wasn't saying anything anyways. Um
yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, dude, it's
Uh, oh, it's a spoiler. Never mind. The one part that I kind of, you know, it stopped the movie a little bit when they were doing all those flashbacks. Oh no, I guess it was only one. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm
mhm.
sorry.
There
But
is
when
a
they were kind of
middle.
getting to know each other. Yeah, there's a
Yes,
little
I
bit of
was
a
just gonna
lull
say.
in this movie.
Yep, that's
And
the.
it's because it's long. It's two
Mhm.
hours and 20 minutes.
It's a
It's
little.
a long movie.
It's way
And it
longer than I
definitely
thought it was gonna be.
and there's a dip. And you
Yep,
feel the dip.
yep.
But the other ends of that dip are both really enjoyable.
And this is the thing. Most of the time, this movie is balls to the wall. I mean, most of the time, you're enjoying what you're like watching. That's
Yeah.
what saves it because there is a lull. And this is the thing. It's not like it's badly written or you don't like the characters because that's not true at all. I was actually I think I was worried mostly about Idris Elba's character because I don't know. Sometimes he can not be the easiest to like connect to. I think as a like in a character like this. Like I think it's very easy to make this character not like I don't know, not enjoyable. I think you can make this
Mm-hmm.
character they could have easily like made this character not fun to watch. But they obviously didn't do that, and I'm very glad. I mean, I think he actually killed it, and he's obviously one of the best characters in the whole movie. One of the best actors in the whole movie as well. Um, but yeah, so there is that lull, and I think it's just because like that's the one moment where it isn't balls to the wall, and the movie is so long that like it really does like bring everything like it's just out of nowhere, I guess, in a way.
Right. It's just accentuated in comparison to the
Yes,
rest of the movie.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
so I think they could have cut something or done something a little different. I'll also say the editing, even though it is my favorite sequence in the whole movie, the sequence, and this isn't spoiling anything, but there is a sequence with Harley Quinn and a solo sequence basically with Harley Quinn and this. I'll just say the butterfly effects, just so you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. The end of that sequence is very I think they could have maybe done a better job editing that together because the way they I love that sequence. That's my favorite sequence in the whole movie. It easily is. It's amazing. That I would rewatch the movie just for that scene, like any day. I wish that scene was in Birds of Prey. Like
Yeah.
that is what I wanted to see in Birds of Prey. That is what I wanted to fucking see. And I'm not saying Birds of Prey was a terrible movie. Like I think we both gave it positive. I think we gave it sixes or like
Yeah.
it had enjoyable moments, but like that was just incredible. And the thing that I wish was changed about it was the way they try to end it with, and the way they kind of jump back and forth with the crew, uh, the rest of the crew and her. I just think it was stretched out a little bit because I don't know. I think they stretched that part out. It was just edited a little strange, like the back and forth between how they showed what they were doing and then what they showed her doing. And then, like, I just think it could have been resolved a little quicker, that moment, because there's this moment where they're like, okay, time to do this. And then it's like, hey, what just happened? I think that was a little
Yeah.
elongated too. Like, I think there was an easier way to, like, just speedline
Well,
that.
I think it was just not well balanced because you had
Mm.
so much cool Harley Quinn stuff
Yep.
going on, and so but you had to fill that time on
Mm-hmm.
the other side, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they just so they kind of had to stretch it
Yeah.
thin there.
Yep.
I think that's probably more what it
Yeah.
was.
But
Uh,
that's like the best part of the movie, and it's just Margot Robbie being Harley Quinn, and it's incredible.
yeah,
It's just
she's great.
incredible. Also, the visuals, like, they're the best visuals in the whole movie. I really wish we
Yeah,
got more of that throughout the movie. Honestly, like, we do get good visuals in this movie, don't get me wrong, but there's never visuals like that again. And I think that's
yeah,
purposeful,
but
but like
yes,
I do like those a lot.
there are some really cool, really different visuals though in this movie.
Yep. The
Now
way
that you
this
bring that
movie's
up,
shot is
there's a
great.
couple. Yeah, there's a couple like specific moments that are really different than anything else in the movie, and a lot different than just about anything else in any other superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
There are some moments that take the time to be a little more artistic, and I think they pay off in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really cool.
Yes.
I will tell you,
Mm-hmm.
speaking about Starro,
Yeah.
I lost my mind when they showed him in the trailer
Mm-hmm.
because, as a big DC fan of
Mm-hmm.
the comics, I never thought we'd see Starro in a movie.
I know.
Starro is not the coolest character ever, but he
He's very unique. Yeah.
does play a very important role in the history of comics. He's the first villain that the Justice League ever fought.
Mm-hmm.
He's still pretty lame though, but it was
I
really
think he's
cool
cool.
to well, in this movie, he's pretty good, but
Yeah.
in regular, no, he's
They made him
not.
cool in this movie.
Yeah, I think they did a great job with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way through a couple things, the way we're introduced to him,
Yep.
and kind of like the backstory we get on him makes
Yep.
it a little more compelling.
And a few of the
And
he has a few like lines, especially like towards the
yeah,
end, that
yeah,
you really get like you weirdly like kind of feel bad for him.
yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit.
They make
That's
him
what I'm saying.
empathetic.
They definitely in a brief time they do add a fair amount of
Yeah.
depth to Starro.
They do that to a lot of these characters. We just get to know them, and I think for the most part James Gunn does a really good job of showing and not telling and giving us really good uh really good ways to connect to these characters in such a brief amount of time, and without just hitting us over the head with backstory on like they don't
Right.
like the first movie this is the only comparison I'll give, but the first movie, that's the big thing with that movie, is it's so much telling and not showing. They just hit you over the head with exposition and
Yeah.
backstory over it, like, and this movie did it perfect. Like, first of all, I can't spoil anything, but the way they introduce everyone in the first scene, it's like literally it's like, okay, like we got it. Like, we're in it. And then the way they continue to show things, it's very well done. And I really think the way they have you connect to these characters is really well done. Like, and I think he does a really good job doing that storytelling. And I think it's a kind of a difficult thing to do. But obviously, he did it with Guardians of the Galaxy, and he did it with this movie too. Um, uh, man, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say while we're talking about visuals and camera work, the camera work is so, the way this movie is shot with the action sequences are I thought it was great. I loved how dynamic it was. It's very chaotic. It's very chaotic, and it's kind of crazy, too crazy sometimes in my opinion. But most of it I think is really well done, and really fun to watch. They really utilize the camera well for most of these scenes. And I do want to say, the only part that I did have issue with the camera work is the first scene, because there is just, in my opinion, too much shaky cam for no reason in some of those parts. There is literally I wouldn't even call it shaky cam, I would call it handheld cam. It's literally there's a guy on the beach and you can literally feel his footsteps. It's just a little too much.
Yeah.
And there's so much spinning stuff in that I don't get motion sick, but holy shit, some of the spinning shots were just a little too much for me and unnecessary that they threw in the first scene. But then after that first scene, they kind of tone it down. It's just that first scene, it's holy shit, we can cool it. This just feels unnecessary. It doesn't really, I don't really think this is I don't know, it seems kind of just too much for the sake of being too, it didn't feel like it was actually adding or anything or being great. I don't know. But the rest of the movie, I think, did a really good job shooting really interesting and dynamic action set pieces. And the only other thing I'll say, shot-wise, I think the lighting was pretty good. I think there are some moments where the lighting's pretty dark and it's hard to see things. Just in the first sequence where it's night, because there's
yeah,
I think it's kind of hard to see a few things going on, which kind of sucks. It was just really, and along with the crazy camera work in that first sequence, it's man, I really can't tell what's going on in some of this. It's not terrible. It's just, and it's only for a short time, but I think the lighting in that part is a little too dark for my liking. But that being said, the rest of the movie I think is really well lit. Specifically, I think this is a feat. I think it's a very hard thing to shoot. They basically shoot this whole sequence of basically it's pouring and there is a shit ton of sunlight at the same time. That's a very difficult phenomenon because as someone who's been in rainstorms with a shit ton of sun, I think they visualized it perfectly and if you know, I think you know what I'm talking about, it is hard as shit to see. It's blinding because the sun is reflecting off of the rain and it's really hard to see anything. It's blinding when it happens. And they shot it so well. It was so fucking cool. There's a whole sequence with it, and I thought it was amazing. I really liked it.
Really impressive.
It really is. It's insane. It's it's a phenomenon that I never thought would be utilized stylistically in a film, but it was. And I'm and I would think to myself, if someone explained it to me, well, how would they do that? Because you can't see anything. How would the camera catch it? And he does it very well. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was very unique. So, yeah, good on James Gunn, man, for this shit. And I guess I should obviously shout out the DOP. And he wrote this movie too. Yeah, of course. But, God, they made it more difficult to find.
Henry Bram.
Okay, you already found
was
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it. Yeah, but it was Henry Bram. That's crazy. But it was nuts. Yeah. So good on Henry Bram. It's fucking awesome. And good shit. Like I loved it. Big fan. Yeah, the only other negatives I have to say is I think the effects are a little the effects are kind of, sometimes they're a little rough, but for the most part I think they're really good. There's just a few parts where I think the effects aren't the best, but I do think for the most part it's not a big deal.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, I think you might be being a little harsh on him, but you're
Really?
also a lot more sensitive to that than I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you know
fair
what I
enough.
was thinking? Because I watched it. I've been. Oh man, I
Most of the
wish I could
effects are
remember
great. Most
exactly
of the
the.
effects are really
Yeah.
good. I just think they're,
Um.
some of it's a little weird.
Yeah. I wish I could. I had this thought like a couple, like last month.
Mm.
I wish I could remember how I articulated it then, but I watched Jungle Cruise,
Oh no, you
and
did?
there's a yep, and there's a CGI like Jaguar in it, and there's a lot of CGI stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks pretty bad.
Oh.
And I'm like, how big? I'm just thinking like, how big of a problem is this really?
Is it like as bad as Call of the
Like,
Wild's CG dog? The whole
it's
movie?
I don't not quite maybe. It's pretty
Cause
close,
you love that
but I'm
dog.
like, I Buck all the way.
Buck all
But
the way. Anything for Buck.
I'm just like, I don't know if that's something that really, like, if it's terrible, like the
Mm-hmm.
way Cyborg in Justice League, because but that's like a style that looks bad.
Yeah.
But like, you know, how I feel like that's something that I don't know if it's gonna bother me too much from now on. Like,
How long
like
was it in the
if the
movie?
CGI is really that bad. I don't know. It got a pretty good amount of screen time, I
Okay.
think
The
actually.
closest thing I
But
could
like,
think.
but what I'm saying just in
Mhm.
general, like CGI things, if maybe they don't look the best, like, you know, this is just to use an example from this movie, and
Mhm.
not saying that this is true, but what if like Starro had looked really bad? Like,
That would
it's
matter.
still a but it's still a giant starfish. Like, where else are you gonna get one of those? You know what I mean? Like,
But
if it doesn't look great, like you want it to look as good as you can, but if you can't make it, well, but that, you know what? That's also me assuming though that like they're doing the best, like they're trying as hard as they can. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's probably not the case sometimes with CGI. But if it looked, you know,
Oh my god.
if it didn't look great, then I'm like, okay, but I get it. Like the star. You know, I'm just gonna you gotta stop me, Joe, because I'm gonna
I
start
know.
going to this
You're
whole
yeah,
other thing right
yeah,
now if you
dude.
don't cut me
Yeah, dude.
off.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's so funny. Um no, I hear what you're saying. And when I discredit like bad CG, it's not me saying I think, you know, the artists don't deserve their job. They're awful. No, that's not how it works.
I didn't think that. Now
These
I do.
people
Now
are
I do suspect that's what you're saying.
these people are usually overworked very poorly. Like, I mean,
Or it's a budget thing, I imagine a lot.
exactly. That's what I usually
Yeah.
credit it to. I don't think it's the artist's fault, and I most definitely don't think,
No.
like, most of the time they are overworked. And so when you see good animation, it's usually like, oh man, these animators were fucking in the sweatshop. But thankfully, I'd like to think that's starting to get better because people are getting called out on it. Anyhow, but that is a really big thing. So I will never, like, you know, try to discredit the artist because fuck that. Like, they do great work. But like I said, it was a very small thing, but that's an interesting idea. Like, I agree. It reminds me of something in The Green Knight, which is a movie that I want you to watch so bad because that movie is fucking incredible. Um, but I saw The Green Knight in between this episode and the last episode we recorded, and there is a little bit of CG in that movie that like stands out once in a while, but like most of it is great. So like the little bit that does stand out and the little bit that is like, you know, a little weird, it's not that big of a deal because it's like, and also like it's just in the context of the movie too. Like it really it's just not a big deal because it doesn't play that big of a part in the movie. Same with this movie. There's some CG that stands out, and like, but it's literally like not that big of a deal, and it doesn't like. It's just I just wanted to mention like that's a small criticism for this one, but most of it's really great. They have a lot of great practical effects in this movie too. They did a great job with that. I love the scene transitions. I loved it all. The only thing I didn't like, there was one title that I didn't like in the whole movie. You know how they did all the title, like the cool titles to transition? Like
Yeah, I
the
like
physical.
those a lot.
I like those a lot too.
Yeah, those
there
were
was
really
only
cool.
one that I didn't like, and I'll spoil it because it's literally doesn't matter. It's just the part where it goes Starro versus the. That's the only one I was like, oh, that's stupid. That is the only one I didn't like. All the other ones I thought were good. That one I was like, okay, that's a little. We didn't need that. Like,
No.
that was a little unnecessary. All the other ones you could argue are unnecessary, but they're cool. They're really well done.
Right.
They're like really visually stunning.
And that one is so different from
Yeah, exactly.
the other ones in the first place.
Yeah. Like, but just really unique stuff. Like, I don't know. I really liked this movie, honestly. I liked it more than I thought I would. And, like,
Yeah, me too.
but I will say there are a few things that I did, and the few things that I didn't like about it, I can't even say because I would spoil, like, it's because of personal things. It's mainly about one character, and I'm sure you could guess who I'm talking about. Maybe you couldn't. Maybe you couldn't. But,
I can't. I'm not sure.
yeah. Oh, I can't even type it to you. It's fine. Doesn't matter. So anyways,
Yeah.
but, yes. So, in closing, yeah, I thought this was a really great movie. Oh, I want to shout out, I know you shouted out Sylvester Stallone a little bit. He was great. John Cena was great. We already said Margot Robbie was great. I have her name here. I wrote it down. It was,
Oh, yeah. She was phenomenal. Daniela
Yep.
Melchior, I think is how you say her name. She plays Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
And she is awesome in this movie. She's so good.
Amazing.
She was maybe my favorite.
She was my favorite other than Margot Robbie and honestly Idris Elba was one of my favorites. I loved Joel Kinnaman, man. I loved him as Rick Flag again. I'm so glad, like, I think he just plays a great Rick Flag. I know, like, he got a lot of shit in the last movie, but I'm so glad he came back and was like, I think he really killed it in this one. So I think that's really awesome. But yeah, so that's awesome. She did great. And yeah, I just very, very happy, very pleasantly surprised and happy with this movie. And I think this was the way to do it. And they killed it. And I hope he gets to do another one. I don't really know if they will do another one. I mean, there's plenty of ways it could go for sure after this movie. And I like that this movie did a great job actually showing what the comics kind of are like. I think this movie did a great job like that. Like, without spoiling anything, because this movie literally, like, said this as the tagline, like, everyone is expendable in this movie. Like, everyone. And that's something that they do, like, the comics, it happens in the comics. Like, usually there's, like, a main crew for, like, a little bit. But, like, what'll happen is, like, there's, like, a series with this specific crew, a series of comics with this specific crew, and they'll die throughout that series. I think they did a good job of showing the idea, like, hey, like, this isn't like these people can die. Like, it's not, like, no one's safe. I like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, watch this movie if you can. It is on, well, by the time you watch this, actually, probably is going to be off of HBO Max. But Watch it if you can, when you can watch it. And yeah, I really like this one. What are you gonna rate this?
I think I'm gonna give a juice boxes out of 10. I think that's a solid score for this movie. That
Mm-hmm.
is, it's very enjoyable. It's
Yeah.
definitely, it's definitely a lot better than I think people will expect going in.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? But maybe we knew they had to bring it with this one if it was
Mm-hmm.
gonna work, and I think in a way they did
Yeah. I would
because it
give
does
it.
work.
I think I'm gonna give it slightly lower. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's really good. Um, I don't know what I could have. I think if it was a little shorter, and if there wasn't that lull, I think it would have been higher for sure. I also, like I said, there's a few things I can't talk about without spoiling shit. Um, there's just one thing that they did for a certain character, and it's a completely personal thing, but I just think it was kind of lame, and the way they, I don't know, it was, I don't know. Anyways, we'll talk about it after. I know you'll disagree with me, but that's okay. Um, but everything else really well done, and yeah, I'm excited to see what else comes out of this. I guess, um, or if nothing comes out of it, that's fine too, because it's really
Yeah,
cool. God, dude, the shark guy was so cool. What was it? What's his name?
King Shark.
King Shark. Holy shit! What a great character. They did it. They did him so well. Yep. So, anyways, um, yeah, let's move on then. This is, God, I'm really glad I watched it. I don't know the next time I'll rewatch it though. That's the only thing I was thinking about. I don't
Yeah,
know,
right.
but it is a good one and it is worth the watch. But if someone told me like, "Hey, you want to watch this?" I'd be like, "Yeah." It's fun. It's a
Yeah,
fun movie.
yeah,
Um, let's get into the throwback of the week, which is a really interesting one. I actually gave you an old one to watch that you've never seen before,
yeah. That's right. That's
which
true.
doesn't really happen often. But the reason why this happened is there's a local movie theater near me that
Well,
shows.
let's say what it
Okay,
is,
okay, okay.
and then
Yes.
because that's why I kind of want to open is how it came
Okay,
onto your radar.
okay.
But it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
Yes.
1956. This
Mm-hmm.
movie's been remade 4 times. This is the
Mm-hmm.
original.
Mm-hmm.
Jump in if I get any of this wrong, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about these. They're aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an alien thing that comes to Earth and they create these copies of people's bodies and they take over people's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts small, it starts in this one town and then it expands. And so this movie centers around a doctor who
Mm-hmm.
is kind of the first person that this issue is brought to the attention of. People are coming to him and saying like, this is not my uncle, this is not my mom, this is something else, even though the person looks exactly like them, has their memories and things like that. So he starts thinking, these people are crazy. Turns out they're not. It's just the invasion of the body snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
So how did this come onto your radar, Joe?
There's a local movie theater that does, and I'm actually going there tonight, which I'm really excited about. There's a local movie theater that shows near me that does like free showings every night in their outdoor section. For the summer and fall and spring, just not winter. I think winter's the only months they don't do it, or maybe they do. I could be wrong. Um, Actually, I think they do. They just have space heaters out there. Anyways, um, so anyway, they do these free showings, and basically they let the staff do these staff picks, um, which is how they showed Dune. Dune was the Dune documentary was a staff pick.
Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah, that was a staff pick. But sometimes they'll do staff picks, and I think this one was a staff pick. And yeah, it was playing one night, and I was like, this would be a really fun one to like. I feel like this would be a really fun one. They also did Creature of the Black Lagoon like the week after, so if
Right.
they showed the Invisible Man here, I'm watching it there. Like that would be
Yeah.
God. That'd be
And
so fun.
there are a few moments in this that did remind me a little bit
Yep.
of The Invisible Man, which obviously
Yep.
came out before this one did, but
Yeah, how so what is the timeline? Like this doesn't count as a monster movie really, right? Or
well, it's not like in that same group. Like it's
yeah.
not one of those Universal
Okay.
monster movies from the
Okay.
40s. This is actually yeah, this is not one of those. This
Mm.
is 50s sci-fi, like The Day the Earth Stood Still,
Yes,
that
yes,
type
yes,
of.
yes, yes.
It's
Yes, you're
like
right.
that type of
That
era,
makes
that movie.
sense. Yep. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I went to see it, and then I was like, "Oh, we should do this as a throwback because this is like, I think you'd love this." And if you haven't seen it, like, that'd be a cool throwback one. And like,
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's unique, like, and it
It is.
actually
And I
is
and I
influential too, like, to a lot of
oh yeah. Well,
sci-fi
it's
movies.
weird cuz I've had never seen this movie before, but it's kind of a cultural touchstone in its way. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows like the invasion of the body snatchers, like everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows those words in that order, and everybody kind of I think knows what these pods look like that they grow the bodies in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's been just kind of parodied a lot and shown throughout pop
Mm-hmm.
culture a lot. And obviously, it sprung 4 remakes, so there's something to it for
Yep.
sure. It does seem pretty. So here's what I need you to explain to
Mm-hmm.
me because I was doing a little work while I was watching this movie. I hate to admit it,
Okay.
but do so
Oh,
they
this.
copy these bodies in the pods, right?
Uh-huh.
But what do they use them for?
Okay, so that's never explained. So are you talking? Wait.
Okay,
So
making sure
are you
because
talking about
these
they're just
they
living?
grow these
They
bodies,
just want.
but then
They're a hive mind. So they all
right,
they're all a
right,
hive mind. So all
yeah, I get that.
they just want literally their only goal is to like reproduce and take over. Like that's it. Like
But they aren't they taking over people's bodies? Like, aren't they actually taking them over? Not like swapping out. I'm talking like, because the whole thing with the doctor,
mm-hmm.
he can't fall asleep or
Yeah.
else he's gonna be taken over. So why are they growing these bodies?
So they basically the idea. This is the idea. This is what I came up with because I was
Okay.
drinking while watching this movie.
Oh, this
So
is gonna be a good review.
this is what because I asked Taylor, who I went with the same question. I was like, okay. So the idea is that this is what I came up with. The idea is if they fall asleep, their consciousness or their something from their body, their brain
Mm-hmm.
power almost, I guess you could say, it gets transferred into that body. But like
Swapped out. So the
yes,
consciousness is the thing that gets swapped out. Here's
but
what I think. Okay, go ahead.
then the issue comes: how are they controlling? Like, how are they controlling? Like, I don't know. It's like, yeah. So like, their body dies once they fall asleep, and the new body like gets life. It is never explained. They don't.
Well, because but doesn't yeah, that but what I'm saying is like so I'm here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say the pod body of me is growing
Mm-hmm.
down the hall.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
If I fall asleep
Mm-hmm.
and let's say you're in the room with me. So we're in this room
Mm-hmm.
and my body, like my pod body that they're growing is down the
Mm-hmm.
hall. I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. It's not
When
instantaneous. It takes time, but yeah.
right. So I fall asleep and then the same body that was in the room with you, not the
Mm-hmm.
pod body, is now taken over.
No. I'm pretty no. The bodies they're growing are the ones that become.
Right. That makes more sense. But
But
okay, cuz so I
so the body that you the body that I was in the room with, the way that they show it is either that body just disappears,
Okay. Got it.
or
Okay.
which makes no sense. Like, there's a lot of things that don't make
Yeah, I mean,
sense,
I don't
but
care about making sense, but I
yeah,
just want to kind of
yeah.
just know what happened. Okay, got
And
it.
like, and this
Okay.
is the other thing. Like, remember when that girl, that the love interest, like, is asleep and he like saves her and wakes her up? I think the reason why she didn't get taken over is because um it was too early in the process. Um
Yeah, right, right. Obviously, yeah,
so
obviously it takes time because they got to grow
yeah.
these bodies in the
And
first place.
I
So,
found out it has nothing to do with like how far away they are from their own pod. Cuz I was like,
right.
okay, can't they just fall asleep somewhere else, like far away from that body? But no, I guess if they fall asleep ever, like the consciousness just
Yeah.
like it happens. Um which is scary as
Okay.
fuck. So yeah, it not all of it makes sense, but that's the idea. But yeah, that's the answer to your question.
Okay, got it. Now we're clear on that.
Yes.
This is yeah, this is a very ambitious sci-fi movie for the 50s, I
Yeah.
feel like. Um, it's not like, there's no big robot or
Mm-hmm.
anything. And it's just I think it's wonderful because at that time especially I think there was this idea of like aliens as these other beings. So the idea of an alien that looks just like you, like
It reminds
that's
me a
really
lot
cool.
of the Twilight Zone episode, the monsters.
Monsters on Mulberry Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
What came out first?
Jesus. I
Can I look it
don't
up?
know. They have been very close to each other.
Yeah.
I'll Google it right now. Let's see. Air date,
Yeah. Um,
monsters.
1960. Wow. So this was first.
All right. Well, they are different enough for sure,
No,
but
I know. I'm
there is
not
something
saying.
about them that
Yeah.
yeah.
This
But
thing in steel, but
obviously we both had that comparison in our heads, so there's
yeah.
something to that. Well, I guess it's just really all about like not knowing who you can trust
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and that sort of thing.
This, I mean, dude, also the God, I watched this a couple weeks ago now, so I can't remember. Wasn't there like, am I misremembering this? Wasn't there like weird, like Cold War, or like weird like, there was like weird like Cold War stuff like sprinkled in this movie, if I remember correctly. Am I misremembering? I could have swore they like sprinkled in some weird like Russian like there was some weird like stuff in this movie, like, and you're like, oh, this is like from the Cold War era. I could have swore, I could be wrong. um but like it was a couple weeks ago, like I said, when I watched this, so now I'm like starting to get a little hazy on that. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was, if I
No, it'd be a lot more fun if there were. You
but
love to see
maybe.
that stuff in these old movies.
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Or oh, no, 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 no. The whole, I remember me and Taylor and like some people around us were talking about it because it was pretty obvious. But this was obviously made. I mean, this was made in the 50s during like a lot of that stuff, or around that time, right? So the idea that we were coming up with was, this is kind of like almost a propaganda film against
Right.
communism,
The
because
whole movie is. Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
idea is that you're against this hive, everyone is the same, everyone's hive mind, everyone.
Well, not just that, but that like, the Reds look just like us. Like
Yeah,
there's commies everywhere. You got to
yeah,
be on the watch out.
yeah. It was, so that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so it's not actually as like apparent as I like.
Right. There nobody mentions
Yeah,
like Russia or anything, but if you
but
look at the movie then it could be
yeah.
seen as that. That's funny.
And also, just saying, the poster has a lot of red in it.
Dun, dun, dun.
But dude, yeah, this movie definitely has some Invisible Man moments. It's great. The part that everyone laughed was when they do the fingerprint, the handprint on the guy who's growing. They check his fingerprints, and it's just a blank. There's like no prints.
Yeah.
Everyone lost their mind at that part. That part's so funny. It's like, and it's just like a fucking. I thought that was really good. That was really funny. Oh, so good. What's uh, the other part that was really funny? Oh, the voiceovers. The voiceovers with this guy are great.
Oh yeah,
They're
jeez,
great.
that really messed me up.
It was the night. It all started in the middle of the night.
But I feel like they pop up at like such weird times. Like they're almost there just to remember he's
Remember?
telling this story,
Yeah.
you know? Like they do, like they kind of like after the first one, the ones that are like
Yeah.
embedded throughout, they kind of don't
Yeah.
make a lot of sense.
No, I think so. That was the last time I
But
ever
again,
saw him. That was the last
but you know,
time.
I think you know,
It's
it's just a different time,
no, I
maybe.
know.
You know, like maybe they just assumed the audience would need that to
Yeah.
like understand time
Hmm.
shifts and things. But
And
it was really weird.
yeah, but I
Felt
will
kind of
say,
half-assed.
no, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things that this movie, like, it's the premise is great, and I think the way they bring this premise out is actually pretty. Like, I think the effects and stuff, like the practical costumes, and
Yeah,
I really liked that. I thought they did a really
the
good job.
pods look
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yeah. And so like the bit of sci-fi that they do have in here is great, and I also think the idea is really good. Like, and they explain it pretty well. I mean, there are definitely holes that they don't explain well enough. But for this, I think it's pretty well done. And like they do some really good showing and not telling. For example, the scene where they literally, like, enough of them are turned at this point where they have a town meeting, and they're all the hive mind, so they're literally like planning their next step, and they're like they know, like, they have a schedule of when they have to act like normal people, and like that was really well done. And I like how they really like showed, like, it's like a virus. It's like it's
Yeah.
you can't stop it. It's like inevitable. They really hammered that home, and that's the other, like, time where I was like, oh, this is like literally propaganda against communism. Like this is so, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So that was like I really liked that. I don't know. This just seemed ahead of its time weirdly. I don't know. Am I like maybe not,
No,
but like
I don't think so. I think there's something about it that I think certainly is um you know, it's not.
it's not perfect at all. It's not great
No,
either.
but
It's
what I mean is it's not like just some kind of regular sci-fi film. Like there's a
yeah.
little more to it,
Yeah.
um, morally, and like it's not full of action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
No, not at all.
they're kind of uh, just trying to make you like think and get
Mm-hmm.
nervous because you don't know who's who. Like
Yeah.
all that. It's a little more psychological than your typical sci-fi movie. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this time too, I think it might be one of
Right,
the
for that
first.
time
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, and like and I think Kevin McCarthy did a really good. I think he really does a good job in this movie. I don't know what else. Have we seen him in other throwbacks that we've done, or is he like not that big of an
I
actor?
don't think I don't think so. A lot of the folks in these kinds of movies, this was
Mm,
really you would not necessarily recognize them from other work.
mm,
This guy was in UHF, which was
Is that a
Weird
big
Al's
one?
movie. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No. Okay.
It's a great movie. He was in Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Really? That's
Yep.
really cool.
Trying to
Dope
see
shit.
what else.
Um, but yeah, like he killed it. I really liked his. I thought he did a great job playing this character, and I also think his uh what's the word? I don't know why am I blanking on this word. His counterpart is counterpart. That's not the right word. The other main
Yeah,
actor in
the
this,
the
Dana Winter,
yeah.
is also incredible. Um, like she did a great job. There's a lot of great actors. I mean, a lot of the actors in the movie I think just did a great job. But yeah, Dana Winter did good. I thought. Obviously this is a movie in the 50s, so like the stereotypes are up the wazoo. So like obviously like you just have to expect that, and you kind of just have to like I don't know, you kind of just have to laugh at it and roll with it. Like that's just
Yeah, take it for what it is.
that is exactly what that's what everyone at the showing was doing too. Like it's just like, it's like, it's the 50s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come home to my
Uh,
wife and kids. And like the whole idea too, right, is also the whole idea here too is this. I don't know. I also really liked really quick that this is a 50s movie, and like what this movie's about too, because it's like it's almost kind of like a meta commentary on not just obviously like it was like there's the communist theory, but like also like it's almost a meta commentary on the idyllic life of the 50s. Like
mm,
like
yeah.
like of how you're of the portrayal of how great everything is, and how like and like
How to fit in.
yeah yeah
How you
yeah yeah.
can yeah.
Very interesting. So I don't know, like
Yeah.
this movie's concepts, and like I really like was surprised how smart it was, because like I went to this movie to see a very cheesy sci-fi movie, and
Right.
to be fair, it's cheesy, but like there is more to it than Invisible Man level like cheesiness, right? Like, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
I love the Invisible Man, don't get me wrong, but this movie's definitely smarter and has more to it than I was originally going to give it credit for. And it was pretty fun to watch. Like, I think it's a good movie. Like, and it's not a good movie just because, oh, it's really funny and, oh, it's really
Yeah.
cheesy. There's more to it than that. And that's great. And yeah, I loved it. I'm glad I have this in my, like, film catalog now, because I think it is very influential in its own way, and I do think it, like you said, it is a cornerstone. And though it might have issues and it's not a perfect movie, it's definitely one worth watching. I think if you're interested in kind of the sci-fi genre's roots in a way,
Yeah, absolutely.
because it is very influential, and you can see that, and there is a lot of commendable things about it. But yeah, I think this is what I gotta say about it. What I don't know. What are you feeling about that? Well, I guess I'll stay. I'm ready to rate this sucker if you are.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I'm ready to rate this thing. Get it. Make it happen.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It has issues for sure, and it is like, it definitely like is very ambitious for the time that it came out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like follow through on everything, but I think for what it is, and also what it represents of the time, and the messages that, like, in hindsight that it's talking about, and the acting, and I think just some of the camera work too, like surprisingly is like good. Like I think it really goes above and beyond in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, so yeah, I think it gets an
Yeah.
8. I would rewatch it again, and I think it is influential enough that it deserves a higher score.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 actually. I think
Mm.
it'd be so because you know I've said it twice already, but how many times this movie's been remade. I think it would
Mm-hmm.
have been, and a lot of those remakes, like some of them didn't look great.
No, I
The
don't. Most of them
78
looked
one
bad.
looked like maybe there was some potential to it, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of them, for the most part, not so good. It
Mm-hmm.
would be really interesting to see the, if somehow the original team that put this movie together and the actors and everything had been able to make this movie at like a later time.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of things that I think in a lot of ways this movie was kind of just a slave to the time it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been interesting if they had a little more
I agree. That's interesting.
leeway in a way,
But
if they
at
just
the
did it
same,
at a
yeah,
different time.
for sure. I will also say though, if this movie didn't come out when it did, I think sci-fi would be uh
Oh, absolutely.
changed. It
Yeah, which is why it
like
had to come out when it did.
yeah, like when you see this movie, if you've never seen it before, I was surprised when I first watched it, the roots that I was noticing like in this movie, like, and it's really cool. So so yeah, I think it obviously, like you said, like the fact that there is some sort of ingrainment in society of this movie is just, it speaks for itself,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
special, right?
yeah, so I love it, and I do not regret watching it, and I hope you enjoyed the recommendation. It sounds like you did,
Yes.
and yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, that's what we got to say about that, and I think that brings us to the end of this episode of Film Juice. It's been a long one, but I mean, there was a lot to talk about. And yeah, I mean, there won't be many left, so we got to make the most of them. But yeah, there's gonna be a few more, so don't like. There's at least gonna be 2 more, I think. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be at least 2 more, I'd say. So, be on the lookout for that, and yeah, thanks for sticking around with us as always, and we're excited for this whole thing to, like, go out with a bang. So, thanks for watching, listening as always. If you wanna follow us on socials to hear the news coming up and get more information on that, and possibly a Dune watch party. You can follow us on our socials on Instagram at film_juice or at Film Juice Pod on Twitter. If you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts, thank you. Feel free to check us out on YouTube too. You see a video version of us talking away, moving my hands. You can see my cool outfit. You can see.
I did not realize the spider necklace before.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. I got it in Italy.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh, Italian
yeah.
spider necklace.
It's an Italian spider necklace. Someone saw my tattoo while I was working the other day. Someone saw my tattoo and then the necklace, and they were like, "Wow, do you have pet spiders?" And I was like, "No."
Not yet, dude. Just really freak him out. Or something
Oh my
like,
god.
yeah, so watch where you step.
No.
As if they're roaming around.
Yeah, they're right in the store. I have them on me at all times. Shoot, throw them on. Oh, imagine if I used to do like a magic trick with a fake prop spider that would really freak people out. That was really funny.
Ooh,
It would like
chills just thinking about
I
whatever
I
that
did
is.
I did it in high school. You might have still been there for it.
I
But
never saw it.
basically, I would, when the trick was over, I would basically, like, I had this whole pattern as I always do. And when the trick was over, they would turn their hand over and there was a spider on it. And they like there was actually like a
What?
prop spider on it. and they wouldn't feel it on their skin until they turned it over and saw it, and they would fucking freak out every time. It was great.
Oh my God, Joe.
It was really good.
You're traumatizing.
It was a great Halloween trick. Always a great one. But you do have to be more careful nowadays because people who have arachnophobia will be very upset. I have had a couple people be actually very mad at me. So now I always ask before I do the trick, like if they are like deathly afraid. If they're deathly afraid of spiders, like I won't do that. But if they're just a little afraid, it's fine. It's fine if you're just a little afraid. Anyhow, side tangent aside, we're both doing the side tangents today. I'm so excited for lunch. I know you are too, probably. It's a late lunch at this point, or a late dinner at this, early dinner at this point. Anyhow, watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts. Apple Podcasts, whatever. We're on everywhere. So check us out there. And thanks as always. We're going to wrap this shit up like it's Christmas. As always, I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
And I'm Andrew Canada, and we'll see you next time at the movies. What is that? Ay, Joe.